Yo guys, Red 0215 bringing them in with a brand new Pokemon Wi-Fi battle here. So you got a battle against Standards from the Smoke and Battle Finder, and this is actually a really good match. As you can see by my team, I'm actually using pretty weird team. This is a underrated OU team. Personally, I like using pokes that are not that are kind of underrated by the Smoking list, and things that can actually work really well in OU. So I've been trying out things like Gallade, which is an awesome choice scarfer. Roserade, which is a really good hazard enter, as well as Raikou, which Raikou could actually work really well. He volt changes and just gets out of there. He works really well. I don't think he did much in this battle, but he does do well in my recent battles that I'm going to be uploading later. But yeah, so pretty much my team works with this. I have my lead Donphan, Roserade, which is my special defensive wall, which also sets up hazards, takes care of poison. Raikou is pretty much a wild chase of the team. I got my banded Dragonite, Scarf, Gallade, and finally a Specs Heatran to throw in some randomness. So pretty much by his team, he's obviously running a Scarfed Landorus. It's probably the most likely going to be Scarfed, or it could be Hydreigon. Either way, Lantern, Bulk, Quagsire, Bulk. I'm guessing his only Stout Rocker could be Jirachi, so I'm just going to guess it's Jirachi. That's probably the only thing he'd have is Stout Rocker. So I'm thinking Celebi's most likely going to be offensive. So knowing right off the bat, he might just want to start off with Landorus, because that's probably the most reasonable play, considering that's his only choice Scarfer by looking at his team. So I pretty much start off with Donphan, knowing Donphan pretty much walls Landorus all day, can pretty much take whatever he's going to go for, even the Hidden Power Ice if he does carry it. So I kind of figured he might want to see my Ice Shard coming, so I'm just going to go straight for the Stout Rock just in case he decides to switch out, not U-turn, just switch out, predicting my Ice Shard. So I'm not going to over-predict right off the bat, I'm just going to go for the Stout Rocks, and he does just go straight for the U-turn. I guess I could have Ice Sharded, but I just wanted to get my Rocks up as soon as possible. So now he brings in Celebi. I knew he might want to attack me with a Giga Drain slash Psychic, no, not Psychic, Giga Drain slash Leech Seed, so I figured my best option was to bring in Roserade at this point. And just to scout out what he has, I know if he does carry a Psychic, I can take one, and he does show it to me, and it's looking to be a 2 KO, so I'm just going to set up one layer of Toxic Spike, knowing that I maybe could take another Psychic, but I don't want to take the risk. I don't want to lose Roserade this early, so I don't want to really cripple it that much, and I have a lot of options to switch into. So I'm going to bring in Heatran pretty much. I know I can take any move he goes for, being the Giga Drain slash Psychic. I was actually completely unaware of the Earth Power at that point, but I was thinking, he might not want to carry it. If he does, I could potentially live one, depending on how bulky he is. And most likely, he's going to be scared if my Heatran is going to be Scarfed. So really, it's all in all going to be a better play for me. Because I am running an offensive Heatran, so if he's running, low speed EVs, I could easily be able to outspeed him. So he brings a Hydreigon, which is not going to take that Specs overheat really that well at all, because it is Specs overheat. So I figure at this point he's probably going to figure out that my Heatran is probably running Specs instead of Scarf, because that did way too much damage to his Hydreigon. So I bring in Black Rose pretty much to take either the Focus Blast or the Surf, whatever he goes for. I know Roserade can take it. He goes for Focus Blast and miss, but it doesn't really matter too much. I'm going to set up my second layer while he brings in Jirachi right here. Knowing Roserade can't do much to Jirachi, I know I pretty much have to switch in at this point, because yeah, it's just it. So I'm going to switch in into my Donphan, knowing Donphan can pretty much take anything Jirachi's going to go for. Figured he's probably going to set up the Rocks. I mean, that's kind of an obvious play, but I just wanted to bring in something. And Donphan, if I do bring it in, I can just Rapid Spin, which I probably should have went right here instead of the Earthquake. Earthquake was kind of obvious. I don't know why I didn't go for the Rapid Spin, because going for the Rapid Spin would have allowed me to take care of his Rocks and finish off his Hydreigon with the Stout Rock damage, but I didn't. And right here, I do make another misplay. I should have gone for Ice Shard, but I figured, because I have this 30, I'm down to live at least one move he goes for, even a Draco Meteor, and I can just get off the Rapid Spin, finish him off, and get the Rocks off. But really, that kind of really crippled my Donphan, which didn't matter too much, but it would have been awesome to have Donphan at full HP. I mean, I could have Rapid Spin at any other time. I really didn't have to, waste that much of Donphan's HP and allowing him to bring in Celebi to set up on me. But it didn't matter way too much. So bringing in Celebi here, it's going to get badly poisoned. No matter how many times it's going to switch out, it's always going to get poisoned, even with natural cure. But it's just going to reset every time. So I'm going to bring in Heatran once again, knowing he might just go for the Grass move or the Psychic move, so I can resist it once again, and hopefully I can still bluff him that I'm faster than him. Because I wasn't even aware of who's faster, Heatran or Celebi, because they have to run the same speed. So I wasn't really sure. I could possibly be faster than him, but I wasn't too sure. I possibly am, so I don't know what I'm thinking about, but whatever. So I bring in Heatran, basically takes it. He brings in the Lantern, but at +1 because he does go for the hidden power fire, which is really awesome. +1 spec, stab, modest, overheat. That's going to be an easy 2 KO on Lantern, no matter how bulky his Lantern is going to be. Yeah, so at this point with the poison damage, that's going to be easy 2 KO. I just have to hope it doesn't miss. It doesn't. It's going to go for second overheat. Finish off that Lantern. That's actually looking really, really decent for me because I have the advantage of the game now. So at this point, his Lantern is down for the count, and he decides to bring in his Landorus. I figure at this point, he knows that I'm like -4, so he might just over-predict, and luckily he does. He goes for the Stone Edge, even though, you know, it's Stone Edge, not the best move. I was kind of hoping he might U-turn, but still, I know I could still take 2 of those, considering he's Scarf, and just go for the overheat and potentially 2 KO him. And even the -4, well, actually it's more like 2.5 because of the fire boost. It still does a lot. So he goes for the second Stone Edge. I knew I could have lived one, so I just stayed in because I definitely knew, considering the damage, I could just finish him off. But he does get a crit, unfortunately. Doesn't matter too much. I mean, the only thing I really could have used Heatran was to stall out his Jirachi later, which I still had my Dragonite for. So I'm just gonna bring in Donphan, knowing I can just go straight for the Ice Shard, finish off his Landorus. So that's pretty awesome. So now he brings in Celebi, and knowing Celebi, I know it's just gonna try to go. I was thinking he might just want to Giga Drain, so I was like, I'll just stay in, try to get as much damage as possible. I don't really feel like switching out, even though I could just bring in my Dragonite right now, but, you know, just in case he tries to T-Wave or something like that, I don't know, you never know. I'm just going to stay in at this point, because, you know, it's kind of viable just to Death Fodder Donphan at this point, so I'm just going to stay in, try to get as much damage with the Ice Shard, as he decides to go for the Nasty Plot, which is kind of annoying. I mean, you know, he does have that Nasty Plot, so that means his special attack's going to be kind of big right now, but I figure at this point I have a lot of things that can outspeed it. It's not like he carries priority, so I'm just going to stay in. Even though he'll get a good amount of chunk of health with the Giga Drain, he can't really, you know, he's poisoned, so, you know, either he stays in and gets more poison damage, or he switches out, so it doesn't really matter way too much. So, yeah, at this point I have a lot of viable options to bring in Celebi just to Oko it. So I'm going to bring in my Gallade at this point because I am Scarfed, so I know I can just bring it in. Just go straight for the X Scissor and finish him off. So yeah, it's awesome because the Celebi's down now. So not really aware if he knows whether I'm Scarfed or not. He brings in his Jirachi, which he probably knows I'm Choice because I can't do nothing to his Jirachi now. I'm gonna have to switch out of there. Go into my Avenger, which is my D-Knight, and I figure at this point with his last 2 pokes being Quagsire, Jirachi, I don't really mind Dragonite being paralyzed by his Body Slam, because at this point I just need Dragonite just to get off a Fire Punch on his Jirachi. So he doesn't bring in Quagsire at this point just to take that Fire Punch, but he's going to get poisoned in result as well, which is pretty nice. I'm glad I got that poison up earlier, because that's going to be really nice residual damage now to his Quagsire, which I really need, because he can just keep on taking my Fire Punches like a boss. So at this point I'm going to bring in Roserade, knowing I can just take whatever he's going to go for, and you know, if he does get the burn, I have the natural cure / rest, so it doesn't really matter way too much. So I'm just going to stay in here, try to get up a Giga Drain. His switch to Jirachi at this point was kind of obvious. I mean, what else would I do with Roserade? But I figured, you know, just for the sheer fact, maybe he wants to stay in just as Death Fodder so he can get a free switch in. I'm just going to go for the Giga Drain either way. Probably should have set up a layer of Spike just so the next time Quagsire gets in, it would got in even more residual damage along with already poison, so the battle would be a lot quicker, but it didn't matter way too much because yeah, this doesn't. So I actually thought I could outspeed here, set up a layer of spikes and just Death Fodder my Roserade, but he does outspeed. He gets a crit on the Body Slam. Not sure how much that mattered because Roserade's physical defenses are pretty crap, but maybe it did, maybe it didn't. So at this point I'm going to bring in D, and then again it's also a bulky Jirachi, so I don't know. So at this point I'm going to bring in my D-Knight just to go straight for the Choice Band and Fire Punch, knowing it's going to do a ridiculous amount, hoping he stays in. He does. He goes for the second Body Slam, still doesn't get the Para Hack, which still really doesn't matter because his last 2 pokes are a bulky Jirachi and a Quagsire, so it doesn't matter. I'm just going straight for another Fire Punch. He does switch out. I kind of thought that, but I figure it doesn't matter. His Quagsire is pretty low in HP, so at this point I pretty much got the game. I can just stall him out as long as I want. I'm going to switch out at this point, go into my Gallade, knowing Gallade has some pretty reasonable, good special defense. I can just take whatever he's going to go for and just start laying off hits on him, knowing he's poisoned. And even with the recover, the poison is just going to add up, and I can just go straight for the close combat. You know, knowing he can't touch me way too much. So at this point, he's going to go for the Scald. I know I can take that, you know, even the burn doesn't. And look, he gets like crit, and Gallade takes it like a monster. He does get the burn, unfortunately, here. But still, he's at a really, really low amount where close combat is just going to finish him off at this point. If not, the poison will, and I think the poison does. Yeah, he lives with a smidgen, and the poison finishes him off right now. And the Scald is going to be doing absolutely crap. So at this point, his Quagsire is down. His last poke is his Jirachi. So I pretty much got this at this point. I actually thought he might live this close combat considering I'm burned and everything. And Jirachi is somewhat pretty bulky. But with the start rock damage at that point, another stab close combat is going to be able to finish him off with the burn. So GG standards. That was a really fun match. A really good way to start off my team, my new team I've been testing out. So I hope you guys liked the match. It was a really fun match.